Hello everyone, it's the Left-Handed Lady today coming at you with our new bullet journal setup. We are going to be moving to a brand new bullet journal. I have actually managed to get about 9 months in this journal, which is a lot. I believe it is due to the whole COVID situation and not having as much to plan. Normally I get about 6 months to 8 months in a journal, so I have about 2 pages left in this journal. So it's about time to set up a new one. And I'm super excited. I've already planned out the spreads that I want to move over to the new journal in the back of this journal. I highly recommend that you only move over spreads that you use and leave all the spreads that you don't use behind, because they just clutter up your space and make it harder to get to the ones you need. So we're going to be using the A5 Scribbles That Matter bullet journal in 160 GSM paper. These are my favorite, as you know. I've used these for 3 years. They're my go-to brand. The best quality notebooks I've found. They hold up so well, they wear in really well, and the paper is just immaculate. So we're going to start off by putting my name and our start date in it, and we're going to jump into our very first spread, which is one of the most used spreads in my journal. It is the Year at a Glance spread, and it is so helpful to be able to just flip to this page, have a whole 12 months laid out, and be able to write down important dates if I need to, jot down vacation weeks or special work weeks, important school dates, all of the above and anything you can think of. Super easy, super compact, and very easy to look on to whenever you are setting up each month to make sure that you don't forget any dates, or even to set up the specific dates that you are looking for in a spread, or even to just make sure that you have your dates correctly and not have to look at a whole completely separate calendar when you're setting up each month. This makes it super easy to jot down dates as super fast as you need to, but also be able to refer to a neat, clean spread whenever you are sitting down at your desk and setting up spreads. So each of these boxes is about 9 spaces apart. The end boxes are only 8, just because of the amount in this journal. Some journals spacings are going to differ, so don't go directly off mine if you're not using a Scribbles That Matter A5 journal. But sketch it out beforehand and figure out what works. The only thing that bothers me about this is that it's not aesthetically even, but because all 4 corners are shorter, it is technically even, so it kind of makes it okay in my brain. But I'm just going through and setting it up Monday through Sunday like I always do. You know, that makes more sense to me to do it Monday through Friday. I'm at Monday through Sunday because my work days are Monday through Friday and I like having the weekends together. It makes a lot of sense. And I am just going to start with my first month, which is October, going on through November, December, all the way into 2021. Just going through and lining up those dates. This is the most tedious and time-consuming spread out of all of them, but believe me when I say it is my most used spread out of all of the first initial setup spreads that I have. I refer to this every single month, if not every single week, to jot down upcoming events, doctor's appointments, birthdays, you can name it, I can write it. And it's such a clean and easy, organized spread to have at the very first of your journal. So I highly recommend this to anybody who's setting up a new journal. Let me know what you think of it if you do it, and I hope that it works as well for you as it has for me, because like I said, this is an amazing spread for me. It makes it so much easier to get things done, easily organized and written down. I could be in the middle of being super busy doing something, getting a phone call, getting an appointment made, and then I end up being able to write this down super quick in upcoming a month without having to make a separate note and then put it into my journal and then find that whenever I'm setting up that month. Needless to say, super easy spread. and I would recommend it to anyone starting out. So I'm going to go in with my dark gray Tombow brush pen and just write a simple plan ahead in my own handwriting, as well as highlight all of those months. Going to write in 2020 and 2021 where it starts and ends, and that's pretty much it. I will come back and show you how I use that spread in detail towards the end of the video. We're going to move on to the next page, which is going to be our grid spacing cheat sheet. So here I am taking 3 different colors and I'm dividing the page up into halves, thirds, and fourths, and indicating that with a different color. This allows me to, anytime I want to set up a new spread or something that I haven't done that I don't already have the numbers memorized for, I can easily flip to this page and be like, oh, this divides the page into 4, or oh, this divides it into thirds, so I can make 6 across the board. However you see it, this works really well, and you don't even have to divide it into the way that I have. You can divide it into multiple different forms, such as by 6s or by 7s, or however you set up your weekly spread. This could be formed to however you need to flip back and look at the different grids. So I'm just going in with those 3 different colors, and I'm also using a calligraphy black pen. I don't know, I just felt like using a calligraphy pen, I guess, to write grid spacing cheat sheet, and adding a few extra lines just to make it look like it fits in with the whole theme and it's not just a big old blank corner in that corner there. Now, as I'm watching this and I am going to write the key at the bottom, I'm thinking in my head, how did I think that that was going to be logical? I started writing it in fourths, thirds, and then once I got to 2, I was like, tooths? That doesn't work. I don't know why I did it that way, because I've always done it 1/2, 1/3, and 1/4. But to me, I just messed up, and it's a little bit of foreshadowing for the rest of the spreads because I've whipped out the white out several times throughout this video, and I don't know what's wrong with my head. I'm just not mapping things out properly. Maybe I'm rushing them. I don't know. It's just been a weird month, so you'll see many mistakes, and it's okay because we always have whiteout, and it's always fixable or somehow rearrangeable. So we're going to move on to the other side of the page, and we're going to set up my lady tracker. So this is my menstrual cycle tracker as well as my symptom tracker. I have found that other than the year at a glance, this is my most used spread. Like you would expect, I go through this every month and check off what I need to. It makes it super easy to track what my symptoms are, when I'm going to come up next, different things like ovulation and those kind of things. I know that there are many apps out there that you could use to do this, but I found that using a paper in my journal and having it full out for the whole 12 months is so much more helpful to me than the stupid app on my phone. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if I download an app, I'm going to use it for like a week and a half and then not use it after that. But my journal, I am hardcore reliable to. So here goes with another mistake, and I'm like, why am I making all these mistakes? So I'm going to white out that whole line and redo my numbers starting from the bottom up, because I realized that I was off by a space and didn't realize that until after I wrote them all down. But like I said, we can fix any mistake with whiteout and a little bit of rearranging. So I do have an extra space at the very top below all of the months. So I just decided to make that a year indicator since we are across 2 years in this journal. So I went ahead and wrote 2020 and then 2021 on the ones that needed to be. And that was a very quick, easy, simple fix for my mistake. And I think it turned out pretty cute. I'm just going in with a red Tombow brush pen. This is the Tombow brush pen that I use for this spread every single time I go to fill it in. I think it's so much better and easier on the eye to make it really coherent and all the same color. So I'm just going through putting the title in. I used the felt tip side because I had a little bit more control and I wanted a finer, crisper lettering there. So I'm going to go ahead and put my key down at the bottom. Now I use it for multiple different symptoms and different things that I track throughout my flow. but you can adjust this to however you want to. You could adjust it to not having a key and just making a simple red line or doing dots. But I suggest that you figure out what works for you and what you're going to put in the most, and then go for it. Make sure you give yourself a key, because some months you're just like, what am I supposed to write down? My brain can't function. And maybe I'm the only one that does that, but a key is essential on something like that. We're going to move on to the next page, and this is going to be my pet log page. This is where I log any events or injuries or appointments or anything that have to do with my pets. So on the left side, I've got it divided up into 4, and that is for my canines on my dogs. And then on the right side, I've got it divided up into 4 different blocks, which will end up being 5 different fish tanks. And that's how I regulate if a fish gets sick or injured, or if they pass away, when I get a new fish, or how I introduced it, all of that things. If you are a pet owner, this is a very good spread, an easy spread to set up. It's very adjustable to however many pets you have, and if you get a new pet, to add one in. I'm just going through with the felt tip side of my Tombow brush pens in multiple bright colors and laying out those boxes. And then I'm going to put the, name or description of tank above each box, and then I have a whole box for me to just jot down, oh, this fish had fin rot, or this fish didn't eat for 3 days, or something like that. Anything I need to recommend or write down, I will, and it just makes it really easy to realize, oh, this fish passed away. Well, that means it's because of this that I wrote down 2 weeks ago, or it's because I've had that fish for 5 years and it's due to pass away. Whatever it needs to be, but this is a very easy, very clean way to track all of your animals and just make sure that everybody is doing well, staying on the right cycle, if they have periods or if they are on a feeding schedule or anything like that. But like I said, this is not going to be a spread that's used for everybody, because clearly not everybody has as many pets as I do. I am a crazy pet lady. So I'm going to go in and jazz this page up just a little bit with some pet washi tape at the bottom and the top. I have this really cute roll of washi tape that my mom actually bought for me, and I haven't got to use it yet, so I'm very excited to use it on this spread. So I'm just going over the edge and then taking my scissors when I flip it to the other side and cutting it off. I find that so much easier and cleaner than trying to cut it beforehand and line it up perfectly. Just doesn't work right that way. So we're going to move on to our next spread, and it's going to be my When Did I Last page. And this is just a page where I break it down into as many columns as I can get, or as many rows as I can get, and lay out things that I don't normally have to do. So it's not like weekly tasks or anything. It's just those kind of tasks that you need to do, but you don't do them very often. So you need to remember, when did I do that last? Or is it time to do this again? Or anything like that. So these are things such as cleaning underneath the bed or clipping the dog's nails, little things here and there, changing oil, those kind of things that you need to maintenance, but you don't necessarily do them every month or even every week. So I'm just going through, and mine I think is 3 spaces large. So I have plenty of space for the more rapid used ones to have plenty of dates on them. but it's also not a whole bunch of space for the ones that are like twice a year, 3 times a year. I don't have to waste a whole bunch of space in there, so I'm just going through with a rainbow variety of pastel Tombow brush pens and my Sharpie fine liner and filling all of that out. I am only going to fill out a couple of them because I need to go through my old journal and figure out which ones I used and which ones I didn't actually end up filling in, because I either did them too often or didn't do them enough, and so that I can only use the ones that I need. But as an example, like cleaning your makeup brushes or washing a mattress protector, those kind of things are not a regular thing, but they also need to be done regularly. Make sure you don't forget about them. So that's why I use this spread. Now, this spread may not be necessary for everyone, but to me it really helps me keep on top of my cleanliness and my house maintenance and even my animal maintenance, those kind of things. So this double page spread is a really personal to me spread. The right side of this page is going to be things I can control, and I'm going to be filling in a lot of flower doodles at the bottom because I wanted something happy and bright to look at when I'm looking at this. Now, this is a page that I go to look at whenever I'm feeling anxious or even just down or having a bad day or feeling a little bit sad or pitiful, woe me. I try to refer back to this page and realize, these are things that I can manage, that I am in control of. Focus on those. Don't focus on all the negative. Don't focus on the things that you can't change. And for me, that helps a lot. Being able to read back what happy, positive me wrote down makes me get back into that mindset and back into that thought process. If you'd like a little bit more in-depth on how to draw these flowers and everything, in my January and February Plan With Me videos, I have a lot more in-depth on how I draw my flowers with the Tombow brush pens, my little tips and tricks here and there. These are very sketchy style, and I love that style. I like going over them with black pen. I like making them very loose and kind of sloppy-esque. But you can always do a little star doodle or bears or whatever makes you happy to look at, because like I said, this page is very personal. This is something that you're going to be looking back on when you're not feeling that great and you want something there to make you feel, oh, that's beautiful, oh, I did that, or oh, that brings me joy. And that's all this page is just to bring you joy. Now, I know I've said this before, but I'm going to say it again. These new Sharpie S Gel pens are amazing. They work miraculously so well over watercolor. They work over the Tombow brush pens, or if you just regular markers. They glide on so well, and as a left-handed person, they do not smear, which is the biggest point of a pen that I could make. Like, if I get a pen and it smears, it immediately goes in the junk drawer or trash, because I will not use it. Because as a left-handed person, you're going over everything immediately after you write it, and if it smears, it ruins your picture. I love these. They dry instantly, but they're very fluid on the paper, very bold. I like to use the 0.5 for a lot of my finer details, but when I need big thick lines, they come in a 0.7, and they even come in a 1, which is amazing. And I have a very large collection of just black pens, and a majority of them are the Sharpie S Gel pens. So I'm going to give them a little shout out. I know I've done it before, but these are one of the best black pens I have found on the market today. They're up there with my Papermate Inkjoy. All of you who watched my very first videos know that I swear by the Papermate Inkjoys. The only places that they falter are on top of watercolors. So when I started getting into more watercolors, I walked towards the Sharpies because they work a little bit better on top of those. So that's the end of this spread, and we're going to go into our last but not least spread, and it's a very simple, easy spread, but also one of my most used spreads, and it quickly fills up. This is my username and login spread. So I'm just going across the top with the Tombow brush pen and making a border, and then dividing the page into thirds and giving myself a place for the site, my username, and the password. Now, this is a really big thing for me because I don't save my stuff online, but I always forget my username and password. So having this in one place, having all of them in one place, is a really big thing for me. And I use this on a regular. I use a double spread because I easily fill up one page within the first month. And that's all of our spreads, and I'm just going to go quickly through and add all of these into my index, labeling which page they are. I do use my index quite regularly, but honestly I use it more of a aesthetically pleasing thing to know that I filled up my index, but I honestly don't ever look at my index when I'm trying to find something. I just flip through it. So you don't have to do this. The Scribbles That Matter come pre-printed with indexes and page numbers, so I feel the need to fill it out, but you could honestly just leave it blank and flip through like I normally do. It is purely an aesthetic thing for me to be able to fill out an index with all of the pages that I've completed. So now I'm going to round out the last little details that I need to switch over from my old journal. So I'm going to pull open my old journal and go to the future log and fill out the important dates in October. I will go through and fill out any other important dates that I have written down for November and December. I just highlight the dates with a corresponding color and then write it down below what it is. This makes it super easy to jot down what I need to really quick and easily look at and be like, oh, I have this weekend open, or oh, I'm busy all this week when I'm going to set up my monthly spreads. I am also going to go through and back to my pet log and transfer over the birth dates of all of my dogs and anything else important that I need to do. And I actually got a new puppy. I rescued her, and so I'm going to divide one of the boxes in half slanted because I do have a very old dog and she doesn't need as much space, I guess, if that makes sense, to write all of the things that happen down, and the puppy doesn't really need that either because she is spayed and we don't have to track much for her. So I'm going to put a little title with their name and their birth date, and then I am pretty much done. But like I said before, this is a really simple but yet very helpful spread for any pet owners to keep track of anything that happens with their pets. And that is about it. And that concludes our setting up our new journal for this upcoming month in October. I hope y'all enjoyed. Make sure you like, share, comment if you would like to know more, and remember to never stop creating.